Barienyu, today I came on early. Nimeingia mbele, msiniambie nimechelewa. How are you doing? Welcome to today's live. Francis Guido in the house. As you know the drill, drop your locations. Let me know where you are, where you're catching me from, where you're tuning in. Are you watching football? What are you doing? Let me know. You know the drill. Hit like, share the link. Let's go. The 2000 ako Adelaide, South Australia. Welcome. Gitsan is in Mombasa. Asante sana. Wycliffe ako Juja. Sophia Nasia Kukatampoi. Hi, I'm single, watching from the cool hills of Ngong. Let's hope this Christmas utaonekaniwa. Bernard Kilu, you're in Qatar. Welcome. Kamahoha, Maragua constituency, Mboro Dhombe. Karibu sana. Shots in Kenya. Kwani umekuwa wapi? Welcome. Sorry. Karibu sana. Ako Kiambu, shots in Kenya. London, Stephen Mutumbu. Karibu sana. Leo hata tunaweza fanya intro ya 5 minutes, we get into it mwenye atachelewa. Nanyuki, locked in, jazz in folk. Asante sana, band. Adaji, can you tell me where you are? The village girl, ako Bungoma. Asante sana, thanks for tuning in. Kevin Moigai ako Macha. Asante sana, karibu sana. We are dealing with a very touchy topic about ruralism. Watching from Norton, Massachusetts, Samuel Muirori, asante sana. Feel at home. As usual, you know, the routine is very simple. Click like, share the link, tell a friend to tell a friend. Emmanuel Masese, Melbourne, Florida, welcome. Support independent journalism. Mawama, as usual, my daily viewer from Izmir, Turkey, welcome. Yeah, so as usual, support independent journalism. Peter Mureu or Maria from Bamburi, Mombasa, welcome. We hope the conversations, you are sharing them with your people. Kamagambo Road in Thika, huyo ni Mango Punda, karibu sana. You know, I hope the conversations you're, sharing them with your friends and family. Civic education, because they have deliberately denied us the knowledge so that we can become voting robots, we can become togeges. You have to liberate your people. Shakes McKenna watching from OJ Roiro, karibu sana. Breezy from Racecourse, thank you very much. You're 47. Gedo 254, Mr. Edward Eric, karibu sana. Tuko 51, tunasonga haraka sana. Paul Nginyo from LD, asante sana. Oscar Matana TV from Kino, thanks for tuning in. Leo hatu watch repeat, tuko ndani. Steve Mutumbu, asante. Elvo West from Fort Worth, Dallas, thank you very much. Mureithi Kiarie ako 237 Thika Town, massive. Wolan, we are 54. Click like, share the link, share the live. Chezeni na likes hapo. Likes kama saizi zingefaa kuwa zimefika so. Saizi kwa 31 zingekuwa zimefika so by now. Share the link. Keep telling me where you are from. Sijajua kila mtu mahali yuko, tujue location ili tuanze mapema, ndio best. Roy Joel Karaoke, santi sana. Kule Roy. Bring back the 10 minutes runs. Huyo ni Veritas, anatusumbua hapa with his usual nonsense. Steve Mutumbu, mumesahau kulike. Patrick Munyi watching from Somalia by Doha, welcome. Rahim Tula from Essex, UK, huyo ako Sangi. Veritas, ananisumbua huyu. Veritas, we have become a brother. Tuko 63. Huyo ni White Webuye, the people, the supporters, hawa ndio watu wangu number 1, checking in from Colorado. Bernard Mongare, uko wapi? Tupatie location. Mumesahau hata kulike. We only have 45 likes now. Veritas amekuwa anatusumbua with the same issues. Bernard Mongare yako Thika, karibu sana. Town nyingine imekuwa Mbwakni. Steve Mutumbu, you can connect with Rahim Tula. Wako mko UK nyinyi yote. Ndio Mango Punda anaambia Veritas, he can create accounts and cut the clips na upload. Bro, hizi vitu zote they need money and time. They need money and time, and we are already discussing how we have a problem. Nani huyo anaitwa PC Tech Kenya Komwea. We already discussing how we have a problem of people not funding independent journalism. Your money goes to tithing for building churches. It goes to chicks on OnlyFans. John Goge, nice to be here from Roiro. Asante sana. Feel at home. What you do is you click the link, share, you post it on a WhatsApp group, on your Facebook. You know, people can know we are online. Lee Angore, thank you, sir. Where are you? We have 2 more minutes before we start. Yesterday, I don't know, I went offline. I don't know what happened. I don't know whether, you know, unajua hizi vitu ni, there's a lot of nonsense going behind the scenes, but yeah, so it went off, and by the time I was, you know, it was just creepy. I had to restart, had to reboot, and then anyway, I was like, whatever, man. But I'd already given you like 2 hours. That was more than enough. But I was just getting started. I was just getting heated up. Santi sana SMEA motoring. Lee Angore, I'm in Nairobi, getting you loud and clear. Thank you, sir. Jet Jambo, safi sana. Francis Ngong Road, karibu. Salimia watu wa Ngong Road sana. Kuwait, Joseph Njuguna, thank you bro, thank you bro. Kama unasikia umefunguka macho, tuendelee, share, like. Hata kama urushi kakitu, take the link, una share kwa WhatsApp group, unaambia wabeshte they need to log in, they need to tune in. Growing on YouTube is hard. You know, on TikTok, I was there for just a couple of months and I was already at 120. So YouTube is a very difficult platform to, you know, to manage. But we'll be there nonetheless. We'll be there. Kamulu, Steven Mwangi, asante sana. Nafikiri tunaweza anza, tuko 75. Mumekataa kulike, naona 51 likes peke yake. Twende kwa tunaongea, and we've been talking about ruralism and how it affects us today. Mboro Dhombi amesema, boomers, we are reminding you before we begin, we are reminding boomers that we don't want to see you anywhere near a polling station in 2027. If you know you were born 1969 and below, you weka nyumbani. on election day. We don't want to hear your advices. We don't want to hear your narratives. We are tired of you guys, man. Bernard Kiel, we will be there no matter what. So we were talking about ruralism now, and we were trying to connect it to our broader problems. And until you sit down and start connecting the dots, you'll never fully understand or appreciate the impact of some of these interventions. And we are all a cumulative result of colonialism, religion, and bad governance. All of them are intertwined. All of them are working towards the same establishment, which is white supremacy. You understand? It is the interest of white supremacy for us to remain at the disenfranchised lot, hopeless country, so that we can be going to their countries begging bowls at the ready as they extract our human and natural resources for a fraction. When you're working in the diaspora, you're not being paid as locals. You're being paid as they can cook up whatever they can. They always try and make you feel that you're not part of them. Yeah. So this is it. The Asante Sana, thank you for the kind message, Mr. Mutumbu. I never wanted to do these political analysis, but we were pushed too much. I was going bonkers. I was going ballistic from all the nonsense that was being flooded by the propagandists. And it was sad to see the old useless bastards, the Mutahingunis and David D's, are still onboarding a newer generation of young people and cheating to them that they are genius economists. If David D was a genius economist, you wouldn't be in Kenya. You'd be working for BlackRock or one of those, or the Kuwait Endowment Fund or something. Levik Mwangi ako Muthurwa, karibu sana. So we were talking about ruralism. And I don't know whether you've ever seen Kenyans you only understand these when you are out of Kenya, and especially when you're Mansa Musa from Vihiga, Asante Sana, karibu, when you're especially in a country like in Europe. And you'll realize Kenyans don't have any courtesy. You'll realize that anywhere, even getting into a building door, guys are fighting. You're always jostling. You're always with somebody there next to you. I'm going to connect it to ruralism and Ugīshagi. DJ Pato from Kamulu, karibu sana. I'm going to connect it. So we have a natural lack of courtesy. And so you go back to your high school. You realize that you were made to fight for everything. When you're going to the dining room, you had to go and scrum. You hear the bell, you go and collect your plate. You rush to the dining room. You're fighting there. When you are a sellout, and you sold yourself out. Asante sana Sharik Harib. Yes, Jana. Jana nili. I don't know what happened with my life. I don't know. It just went off. These are things, understandable things. You don't want to put too much mind work on it because it will distract you. So in your life, you've always, like in our high school, you're queuing to get to the dining hall. Until now, most of the time I used to skip my meals. I find my own way of sending somebody to buy food outside or something. Yeah. So you're fighting for food. Wycliffe, my M-Pesa number has always been on the description. Like now it's on the description, and I'm telling you, support independent journalism. Hamutaki, munataka kutumia Njoki Murira pesa yote. It's good. DJ Yadla, asante sana. Kuna watu wako nje ya dirisha, waingie ndani. Ticket ni kulike tu, like the video, just like the video. So you are perpetually and constantly in a cycle of queuing, jostling, fighting for what was constitutionally yours. So you are fighting for food. You have paid school fees in the high school that you've gone to, or in the boarding school that you are. You're jostling kama lunchtime. Ati una imagine Brayo from Slovakia, karibu sana. You're from class. You run from class to go pick your plate from your dorm or your box, and then you run to the dining hall, and then you eat, and then afterwards you run to go and wash, and then afterwards you run back to the dorm, and then back to the class. Unaona hizo zote. Simon, have you seen all of that? Have you seen that whole scenario? And then on days, and then on special days, just to make you feel, to stroke your egos, munaambiwa kuna special food. Moses M from Kangemi, asante sana, karibu. You're told there is some, whatever, what inaitwaje, kuna special food leo munakula mchele, because you've been eating githeri the whole week, you've been eating pebbles. Nicole from Sweden, welcome, feel at home. Mkiingia hapa mnaingia kama mume like na muna share link, alafu tunaendelea na ibada. So now there is special food, now there is rice, now there is going to be rice and waru, ati sasa hiyo ni special food. Nani yako Mwiki wa Mbogo John, thank you very much. Now there is a tuned in from Juja, Roba Hope, thank you, welcome, welcome. Sorry, nilikuwa nasema thank you very much, ni kama umerusha kakitu pole. Ni welcome, feel at home. So you are constantly forced to fight for even the most basic. So unaambiwa siku ile kuna special, like us on Saturday we used to have rice, and then rice was such a big deal because you've been eating githeri every day. Japolo Kenya from Ongata, welcome. So now there is rice, now guys are fighting. Unasikia hiyo watu wakikimbia D hall, unasikia ni kama kuko na earthquake, unasikia tu dudu guys running. Oti from Kibera, namba ya M-Pesa iko kwa description, please. Iko kwa description bro, lakini nitakuwa naiweka hapa ili nitaweka hapa kaya cash up, I'll put them over here. So you're running to the dining hall to eat food that you've paid for in the form of school fees. Afterwards, I remember we were even fighting to buy at the kiosk, because the kiosk was built in such an inhumane way. It had a small window, the high school kiosk. Locked in from Mogadishu, Mike Mboro, these are my guys. Shokandogo from Da. Hawa watu wanakujanga kila siku na watambua sana. Masahani zilikuwa zinatembea, Owen Munene anaongea hii maneno. Taking in this new thinking from Kajiado, santi sana, fundi kali, share the link, click like. So the ka window was like this for the kiosk mahali tulikuwa tunaenda. So bro, ili kununua hapo ulikuwa unapigana. Loyangalani maneno Alex, Loyangalani karibu sana. Guys used to fight just to buy. Now there you are buying. Mango punda unasema nyala moja. You used to fight to buy angumu, to buy a loaf of bread or something. Vincent Borara is in Nakuru, asante sana. Gaidho, make me moderator, I will paste your M-Pesa number hapa. Okay, so DJ Adla, how do I do it? How do I make you moderator? Okay. Niweke moderator ina gani? Haya. Anyway, DJ Adler, you're a standard moderator for this channel. You've been promoted. Umekuwa sasa prefect. You don't have to queue for food in the dining hall. So now you're given small packs where you don't have to line up. And that lining up and fighting mentality is taken out into the system. Suddenly you have to line up and queue for a passport. You have to line up to get into the airport because this place is so disorganized. You have to queue for the most basic of government services. You're going to queue, even you're going to a bank to queue for your money. Ulikuwa unaona Aizo from Kigali kama dawa, asante sana. Ulikuwa unaona Equity Bank queues zimetoka sijui from here to China, and people are queuing for their money, and you're going to spend 4 hours to go and retrieve your own money because there were steps and chains and what, and you have to. So that queuing mentality starts when you are in school, and so you become very angry, passive aggressive people. You become very angry people that every other time wewe uko pale tu. And I was trying to connect it to Malik Mohammed, asante sana, nitakuwa nabandika number, but DJ Yadla atakurushia namba, mwenye yote anauliza DJ Yadla ako hapo. So you find kumepata tu ka jam kidogo, ka accident kidogo. We have these rural people who are so impatient, washaanza ku overlap. Kipchumba Chepkuoni, karibu sana. Watu washaanza ku overlap. I need you to understand ruralism and what it is and how it affects your life, because when you are stuck in traffic because of one idiot who is overlapping, badala angoje pale mbele hapa resolve, badala just chilling a bit, angoje pale mbele, let's resolve this, but immediately somebody is overlapping, mwingine ashaenda hivyo, mwingine ashaanza kuturn. This is how ruralism affects you. And so we've become a country of people who are indecent, people who are gross, people who are aggressive. Have you ever seen those guys matatu sector vile wanakuanga rough? Have you ever seen how those guys are rough? Wanakuanga rough all the time. They are ready to spew all the nonsense. Because of what? It's ruralism. And then now it is programmed into you. It is fed into your DNA in school. In school, like, you have to constantly run. Ati ukiona mwalimu hivi lazima ukimbie. Ati ukiona mwalimu tu hivi na you are not late. Yeah, you're not what? You are ufanyi anything, but unaambiwa, me when I see you, you have to be running, you have to be doing what? It's a lot of crap that we used to endure. Samuel Moirori is telling you about Huduma Center. Once you go there, Oyo Jack is in Vienna, Austria. Welcome. High school was proper indoctrination and programming to fear authority. Yes. And so people like us who have now developed the tools to not fear authority. Me, hizi vitu mumekuwa mukitishwa nazo na Matiang'i. Ati go and register for Huduma number. I never did any of those. Did I die? Mukaambiwa mwende mudungwe. Mimi sikufanya any of those. They were trying, they were using, but they know the fear component is what they were prying on, because they have already invested in a system called 844. 844 was created by who? Daniel Arap Moi, Dingi Mwananzeki, James Kamunge, the founder of Daystar University. They knew what they were doing to create robots. They had to breed a toxic boarding system where once you go there, you are taught how to fear authority. You are taught to be subservient to the political establishment, however corrupt it may be. Mudhini Mumo, karibu sana from Mogadishu. So that's why we have to, Joyce Mudubi, karibu sana from Dallas, Texas. We have to connect ruralism to the problems that we are seeing today. Abu is watching from Washington, D.C., supporting independent journalism. Thank you very much, Mr. Abu. Kiki, watching from Dubai. So, you understand, people, or can I say, you need to, ruralism is a mindset. It's not that just because you were born in this area, now you are a ruralist. No, you can liberate yourself, you can emancipate yourself. Remember, there's also the correlation between ruralism and colonialism. Colonialism could not have succeeded. The colonial project, which we are still reeling from the effects of, could not have been such a resounding success if ruralism did not exist. If all these things, religion that we are talking about, they would not be existing. They would not be existing if people had the eyes. You had the vision to see it and call it out. Yeah. So that's why I saw somebody called IQ Watson. He's a guy of Andrew Kibe, and then he came there to troll me because I was talking about Nick Ruto's vehicle. He has a new Lexus. He has a new Lexus over there, and so Nick Ruto, IQ Watson came and said, no, you are very bitter, you're very angry. This is a guy who lives in diaspora. First of all, they are in diaspora because they left the country at its worst, because They had options. Now, those of us who don't have options are stuck here fighting the good fight. And I'm like, because you had a better opportunity out there, because you had an option to leave the country and acquire citizenship elsewhere. Us, we don't have that privilege. The only privilege is we have to fight the good fight. So let us fight the good fight. You cannot have left the country in the 90s, that IQ Watson left in the 90s. You cannot have left Kenya in the 90s. You go to America because you are scared of challenging the establishment, and then now you are coming to reinforce the political demagoguery. You're coming here pretending that you are a defender of the William Ruto regime. We are going to nyorosha you. Aspire KE is from Utawala. Thank you very much. That's what I'll do next time. Now we are already talking, but DJ Adler has the M-Pesa number there. If you're feeling touched, you can come through. Santeni sana. Diaspora people, mko wapi? Simuoni huku mkiweka colors, those different colors. We love seeing them. So and ruralism in Kenya, we have misconstrued ruralism to be humility. And now humility joined with religiosity has been used to brainwash people and to create a facade. And to this person is pretending that he is a very nice person because he's humble, because he goes to church, and that's how you've elected chokoras. There's a chokora who was elected as an MCA in Thika. Can't talk a word of English, but because he's humble and because he goes and says Mwadhani Agosho, and then he says what he drops a few Kikuyu idioms over there, then he automatically, that's the criteria. That is how ruralism has been weaponized to, first of all, select the worst of the crop, bottom of the barrel. Yeah, Vera Muga, yes, that's the name. Thank you very much. That's bottom of the barrel to be your leaders. These people cannot interrogate a budget. And your counties, every day, these days I'm going to be focusing on governors. Anytime I see a governor trending, trying to do some dumb stuff, trying to do Philip Mutua, Vera Muga, leo uko on time, Philip Mutua, thank you very much. Thank you for your kind words. You understand? So we have to you understand what ruralism is, because I've told you both can coexist, both can work, both can. Because I want, when I go to a rural area, when I go there, I want to unwind. I want to meet Nyeri people telling me Nyeri things. But I don't want to go to Nyeri and I find Nyeri people telling me Nairobi crap, which they've had from Samido and Karinyamo, because all of them are in Kameme and Dinoro and all these vernacular stations. You understand? So you listen, D Karaoke, karibu sana. That's how you connect the dots about ruralism. I was giving an example of somebody like who? William Ruto, Kipchumba Murkomen. Look at their history and their early photos. Those guys were going to school without shoes, being jigger-infested feet, bad shoes. They can Murkomen's. You look at him, he just looks horrible. He just looks horrible. But how does that guy who has grown up in abject poverty in the bundus of Elgeyo Marakwet, how does he then go to a store and buy a shoe worth 300,000, 400,000? Ruto yesterday had Christian Louboutins, red bottom, costing I don't know what. I was seeing people analyzing them. They were over 300,000 shillings a pair. How does someone, Moses Otieno, bado sijaangalia nitaangalia, but thank you anyone who is supporting independent journalism, not just me, all other independent creators who are trying to liberate you with political analysis and content. You know, this is our way of advocacy, because there are no donors now to fund us, because the donors, we've come to realize that the donors, even them, have a vested interest. They are only funding LGT and what, and people, feminazi movements and whatever. You understand? So everyone here has a vested interest. I'm telling you, like now, nobody is talking to me. I'm sure when it gets to 1 year to elections, now all the politicians will be all up in my grill, and I'll be telling them, I'll be showing them the middle finger and telling them, you guys, bana, We've been educating, we've been liberating these people for the last 4 years. Where have you been? So that's why we need to crowdsource and find a way of creating an ecosystem, a self-sufficient ecosystem where we are running our own programs, we are running our own legal costs, we are running our own campaigns. Yeah, because you don't want the values that you see me espousing over here, you still want me to hold on to them for the rest. So that's the trade-off. That's, if you want this voice, if you want this analysis, that's the trade-off. Because if I start now going to muzungus, now these muzungus will start telling me, now change your content sasa, umechanua watu sana, huyo ni Abu. Thank you very much. The colors that we love seeing. Thank you very much, Mr. Abu. Thank you for supporting independent journalism. You are 146 of you. By the way, I don't take it for granted. And I told you I have even friends I've grown up with who've never supported me. So thank you. Now, Murkomen wametoka in the dungeons. Edgar Donis, these are my people. Hawakosangi kukuja hapa, siwezi kosa kuwapea shout out. Karibu sana Mr. Edgar Donis. Huyo anaitwa Alex. Asante sana. 3 categories of people we are doing away with: boomers, religious leaders, and current politicians. Au wote tunawapeleka kwa dustbin 2027, even earlier if possible. Even earlier if possible. So listen, this is it. This is now we have to maintain this ecosystem. We have to maintain our safe space where we have our small conversations. Even if we are 155, every little counts. Every little counts. So how does Murkomen, who has promoted himself as a very humble, born-again Christian, how does William Ruto, who came from huko Eldoret South, mtu ametoka na huko kunaitwa aje huko kwa kina Sugoi, suddenly anavaa, is dressing up all of that. He has gone through a makeover. He's wearing, ati ukimwangalia net worth, ukimfanya fit yake hivi from the watch, everything, imefika karibu 7 million. How does somebody do like that? You see, ruralism is has been weaponized here to select the worst of the crop, bottom of the barrel, who are hiding under, attributes that are not necessarily related to good governance and, the political people that we espouse to be having in office. Yeah. So they hide behind religiosity. They hide behind sentiment of humility. This is me, I'm humble and what. And there's nothing noble about being humble, because in that state of manufactured humility, that's where you are most exploited. That's why religion played a big part in colonialism. They had to get the rural people. They had to use a concoction of strategies to make you, first of all, hate yourself, to make you berate your own leaders and the ones who are trying to liberate you. Like, they kept on promoting Mau Mau freedom fighters as terrorists. So the people, first of all, they had to sell that idea to Kenyans themselves, to Kikuyus themselves. That's why now they elevated the scum of the scummiest to be the home guards, the colonial chiefs, the headmen, so that these guys who are trying to open your eyes are demonized. They are you can demonize the Mau Mau people and say they are bad. And even the person who eventually killed Dedan Kimathi and other freedom fighters were largely Kenyan sellouts, Kenyan home guards. You understand? So for you, self-hate and ruralism, they go hand in hand. Ruralism, whatever ism that you want to pick, but ruralism has been weaponized by the establishment to keep on dominating you. Because now, why is the rural sentiment so prevalent in Nairobi? Why are rural people trying to impose their warped agenda? Because they have failed. They come from the Bundus, they come from Muranga, they come from Nyeri, they come from Garissa, they come from Samburu, they come from, even think of anywhere, think of any rural place you can think of. They have been unable, number one, to elect people well. They have been able to, then they come to they come to look for work in Nairobi, rural urban migration. Because the people in Nairobi have some semblance of fighting for their rights. Yeah, the people, and so Nairobi has a there are industries there, but them, they have killed their own industries because of constantly telling people, no, nini, worship the Lord, this is what you will do, and then you elect idiots. Well, we are receiving devolution funds for everyone. There's something called the equitable share of revenue, where the devolution fund is derived from. I've been reading occasionally. Yesterday, I saw the Kilifi governor, Gideon Mungaro, with a convoy of 30 fuel guzzlers. 30 fuel guzzlers wame drive speed ingine. Then I went to their equitable. I've seen this guy is receiving 4 or 5 billion that county, and then they've generated 1 billion of their own there. In that county, there are no roads, there are no streetlights, there's not a single hospital there. That's why all these shakahola things were happening there. You see? So you ask yourself, and you now start connecting that. So a Kilifi person has left Kilifi. They vote with their diabs. They don't vote with their heads, because they are poor, they are bribed. So they vote with their diabs. They elect a thug. Once they elect a thug there, then now they come to Nairobi to look for work, and they want to impose their ideology. They want to impose their low-grade thinking to Nairobians, who they themselves have made an effort to fight for their city, to retain the jobs that they are still earning from. For instance, we've been here talking about Alcoblo and Uhuru. Alcoblo is the one which destroyed the economy. The other day, I read you a list of the clubs which have shut down. 100,000 jobs gone in the smoke. So, but we are talking about it. These guys never talk about it. They even want me to talk about Kilifi. They want me to talk about Garissa, because all of you, first of all, you have rural-urban migrated. You have migrated to the closest urban city as possible. So and then once we tell you that you have a rural mindset, you get angry. You start saying, and somebody was accusing me of elitism. Another one was trying to accuse me of tribalism. I'm telling them, urban culture is not dependent on tribe. We have our culture. We don't want you to come and bog us down with your religious delinquency. You come here and start telling us, oh, religious. Like now, if you look at any crusade, you think the people who go for those crusades are locals. You think they are urbaners. No, those are rural bred people. And we are trying to tell them, you listen to us, you will win, you will benefit. But you idiots are listening to your politicians who have kept you in a constant cycle of poverty. You understand? I was telling now, why are people we are always overlapping. If you look at the traffic, guys are driving bad, and you look at the distance and the minutes that the guy is trying to save, is very little. Is some impatience, and I've told you it came from your high school. You are forced, you are being programmed into being uncouth characters, people without dignity, without manners. I'm telling you, you go to Europe, you just step in like this. Europe, nobody even would allow you to touch them. Everyone is always Zila, ndio huyo ameingia. Asante sana, these are my boys, man. Zila, welcome, feel at home. These are the people wanakuanga na mimi kila siku hapo. Kwa hivyo shout out to Zila, feel at home. So you are uncouth characters, you are toxic characters, you are retarded individuals, because it started from high school. You are being forced to queue for food you've paid for. Your parents have paid school fees. You're being given William Dolan from New York. Jana Sijui, I don't know what happened. I don't know whether these people pulled the plug on me. But anyway, welcome William Dolan, who you are on New York, Zila, Asante sana. So you've been forced and turned into toxic bastards by a schooling system that was designed to achieve this particular objective. And nobody, my rural county of Embu, I got inside Kichakas, and I can tell you I got immediately depressed. Owen Munene. The ruralism is scripted and choreographed. It is these people, they plan far, these useless Muzungus. They left this system intact so that they can rule us and dominate us for another 300 years after independence, before anyone even knows what is happening. And when we try to have Leshao Lontobu, Karibu Sana, joining us from Dallas, Texas, thank you very much. Feel at home. So you are fighting for food that you've paid for. And don't forget your headmaster and your headmistresses, also from the money they are trying to scheme ili nao wajenge maploti. They're trying to wananyonga pesa hapa, so you're getting a bad diet in school. Why? Because so that a principal somewhere, na huyo principal ni ametambulika huko na politicians, by the establishment, by who. So you are, and then now you have to now scavenge in the dining rooms or in the dining hall. You have to go fight for food. Zilao amesema he's supporting independent journalism. He does that every time. Thank you much. Thank you very much, my brother. Now don't Stephen Mutumbu anasema well done moderator DJ Adler Santi. So you ensure and you do what you do is, once you understand that this is the caliber of human beings, once they understand, William Dolan amesema if they sabotage, tunaenda kwa text messages kama zamani tulikuwa tunatumiana emails. Unaona email forward iko na watu wengi hivi. That's how. And when I'm saying it's a privilege that we have these tools, because Raila was telling us that when he wanted to pass his message, because they always try and downplay our influence. They always try and say, that's a keyboard warrior, that's an ini. But Raila, he used to say they used to go to he had a relative who used to work for Kenya Airways, and between 1 and 4 there was no flight. There was no there was no flight at JKIA. So they would go and use the photocopier there. They photocopied hundreds of flyers, and then they go pour them in Nairobi. That's how they used to pass their message. As we're even luckier because of the advent of this technology. So there we go. So once you are fighting for your hard-earned food, because the principal ameiba yake, so mnafaitia chakula kidogo, fighting for scarce resources. That's why all of you are always fighting. Ukienda kwa airport una fight kuingia, mkienda Nyayo House kuchukua passport, ukienda Huduma namba, watu mnapangishwa line hapo kama watoto. There is no dignity. Shadi Kosgei joining from Lenaxa, Kansas, karibu sana. You are fighting for what is yours. And that is now the ruralism. That is how even the people from town now get, co-opted into the mindset of ruralism. So once you understand that, I was telling you, in Europe, ukienda kwa mlango hivi, you are just about to board the train, ati mnakaa ni kama mtafinyana na mtu, watu wanasimamanga, wewe pita bro, pita kwanza. Huku ni watu wanafinyana, wengine wanakaribu waingilia kwa dirisha. There they've been taught etiquette. They've not been subjected to the inhumane activities of queuing, for instance, for food that you've paid for. Ideally, food, you should sit down and people should serve you, because the amount of money even students pay in school fees is a lot. Should be people coming to serve you, and the menu should be diverse. Each of these schools should be having their own kitchen gardens, growing their own food, having their own animals. But they don't do that. They'd rather, because now the principal and the headmaster, ni yeye bado ana supply mahindi huko na maharagwe. Ni yeye akona makatel zake zina supply huko. You see how you're kept in you're kept on a leash by cartels all your life, and you've come to take it as normal. So when you're getting there, you see people are organized. People don't even want, yani mtu hii Kenya, hata ukiwa kwa bar uende kwa choo, utakuta mtu amekalia kiti yako. Agre Okero anakuambia people are seeing you deserve these services, but people are treating you as if you're begging, like you are second-rate citizens. So for you, I don't know what to tell you, but ruralism is there. And when I was highlighting somebody like Churchill is a rural-bred character. First of all, he was not born and raised in Nairobi, and Mawama says it's all by design. And he came and started picking up, and he has also influenced corporate trends. That corporates now identify influencership and the people they are going to identify with as the ones who have been rubber stamped by, or the ones who have been platformed by Churchill. Churchill, and so you have all these politicians, comedians spewing stale jokes, jokes with a rural context, and I don't know what, and people are happy, and so corporates now dandia, and then you have now characters like Samido, and so the key here is to boycott the corporates who are perpetrating, entrenching ruralism. You boycott them. High school was just shambles. DJ Adla is telling you that high school was just crap. You are forced to chase, you're forced to beg for things that you have paid for. So Churchill has gotten all these, guys who don't have, and he wasn't even paying them, because we saw them lamenting later. He was only giving them the platform. Oh, I'm giving you exposure and whatnot. But because they were from the rural areas, then they would have agreed to such flawed terms that you come, I'll cash in from the views, and then you will get the exposure, and then you can go build your clout elsewhere. So, and then now the corporates followed. You had people like Bonfire. If you see, Bonfire are always on board with anyone who is trending on those Ugīshagi trends. Those, like now they were on this guy from, is he from Elgeyo Marakwet, the guy who was dumped by his chick last minute before their wedding. Now Bonfire wako hapo, we are going to give him a holiday. And those have become now the corporate trends, perpetuated by people who you are giving their money. So the power has always been yours. You start boycotting this crap. You start telling them in the comments that this, I will not be part, I will not buy your stuff. For instance, when I said that Samido and the corporates who are following him, if you look at his list of places he's performing, you'll see like a club like Quiver, he's performing 3 or 4 times. Quiver is owned by the same entity. I'm sure the other people who are there, you'll find they're also owning some of their. So it's a cartel, it's a clique of rural people who are trying to dominate urban people. They are dominating you in your politics. They've dominated you in your churches. And now they are, because they have, for them, they have such a skewed idealization and understanding of good governance. Mtu kama amenunua V8, amefanya nini, yeye amefika. Those are their aspirations. Again, back to Murkomen and Ruto. Now that they have designer watches, designer shoes, yeye amefika. That was the highest. Not to see other people liberated, which is what the difference between white people and black people. White people empower themselves. They empower themselves. They are seeking new frontiers. They are in Mars. They're looking for ways they can send their people there to go and build new populations. Here, mtu ati kununua gari imetengenezewa Japan ama imetengenezewa Germany, that's your highest aspiration. You see, ruralism has tinkered with our collective imperative as a people. Yeah, we have. Yeah, what is this? What are you saying? Nani, Steve Mutumbu? We need to find a way to ensure these ruralists do not colonize and dominate us. We have to find a way. We have to find a. It is amazing when I saw there's this guy called Sabato. Sijui kama munamfollow. Sabato was talking about somebody called a place called Mathare. And there's this musician alikuwa anaitwa Ekodida. Ekodida alikuwa na vae MCA, wakamnyima kura huko, wakapatia some rural guy. A rural guy who's not necessarily grown up in Mathare. Labda amehama huko of late, ama ameishi huko kiasi. But you know, there are people who become so passionate about an area. Kama Ekodida amekuwa akiongea juu ya Mathare kwa mangoma zake and everything. Wakakataa kumpatia kura huyo ili wapatie mtu mwingine. Sasa ndio nikaona Sabato akiambia watu wa Mathare wateseke, because you need to understand there is the people who have lived in those urban areas, they know the challenges of that place. So the people who were born in Eastlands, they know the challenges. They know what needs to be done there. But hawa wenye walitoka nje ndio walikuja wakapata mahali wakasema sasa tukatakate hizi maploti. This ni playground hii tukatakate. Let's turn this into flats. These are all the rural people. They came and you onboarded them. So how did rural people come to, especially Nairobi? The initial, the initial. No, wait. I thought Ekodida won. No. Mi sikuona kama ni yeye current MCA. Niliona Sabato akisema story ingine. So I don't know. Maybe he won, maybe he didn't. I don't know. Nilikuwa naona that story. So you look at nimekuwa distracted by another tweet hapo ya huyo mubaba huyo mwenye ametoka diaspora, amekuja huku na mafujo mingi. Ekodida won. So what was Sabato saying? So that is ruralism. So I want to tell you how the rural guys came to Nairobi. When akina David Mwenje, Maina Kamanda, they were initially not Nairobians. Nairobi minor commander had come from, was it Githunguri or Kiambu? And then there was Agre Okero. Okay, got you. That was an error. I should have seen that. So if he's an MCA there, then why haven't we had him talking or doing anything of late? So minor commander David Mwenje was from Muranga. Oh, they used to transport voters. They used to remove voters to come and register as voters in Nairobi. Now this is something that has been used by very many people. They transport voters, and so you have your will as the people of that region usurped by transported voters. They used to bring them in trucks. Even a place like Thika town, the MP there is called Alice Nganga. She's not born and raised in Thika. They still vote for her. Do you know why? Because ruralism, and then first of all, there's importing voters, voter importation. Secondly, the ruralism. Now the Hash is from a place called Nyashafa. Nyashafa is na uko ndani in Juja, somewhere in Juja na uko ndani, in the middle of nowhere. But for her now, looting CDF so that she can buy a house and everything, for her sasa amefika. And so the people in Thika, because their will has been usurped, the people who live and require services in Thika and they require proper political representation, their will has been usurped by these rural bred retards who are transported and who come to dominate the politics, and who are the ones who are in Inoro and Kameme. Which is why it is important for Inoro and Kameme to be within the strongholds, or vernacular stations to be within their respective strongholds. Now, if you think that you are Ramogi FM and you're strong in Nyeri, set up there. But in Nairobi, first of all, or in places which have been gazetted and demarcated as cities, there should be no vernacular station playing there. And somebody told me, these observations come later, that Tanzania, they don't have vernacular stations. Sympathy votes are for gullibles. My MP can't even speak Swahili, forget English. Yeah? Relax in music and nature. Very true. Public service in Thika is dead. So you're here, your will, your political will has been usurped by ruralists who are first of all transported to come and vote, and others who don't even operate. Like now, the people who operate, or like I was giving you an example of Thika. Thika, the people who now dominate trade and small businesses over there. Jonathan, that's a good suggestion, that we should, people who have not lived, I don't know how we can identify that people who have not lived in a certain area for a certain duration of time should not be eligible to vote there. I don't know whether you have, I don't know whether that has crossed your mind. I don't know the actualization of such a bill, because I was telling you that's how rural people ended up in Nairobi. Now those were the Kikuyu ones. Now the Luya ones was who was this guy? What was his name? Fred Gumo. Fred Gumo is the one who, in Kawangware slums, the strongholds now of the Luya community, he's the one who brought people there. Yeah, nakuambia hapa weka hapa na nini, so that you can influence the votes. That's why they are strong in that particular area. In Westlands, you cannot get in if you're not. Those guys are the ones who call the shots. But do they represent the will of the people who are living and working in Westlands? So this is, again, ruralism being weaponized. Muthoni Wanganga says, true, we don't have vernacular stations in Tanzania. Every day we are learning something new, because the more the proliferation of vernacular stations that there has been, the dumber the Kenyans are becoming. We were supposed, or we thought, that liberalization of the airwaves will herald the dawn of a new era. Will push, will thrust us to greater heights of prosperity. But no, people are becoming dumber. People, if you listen to conversations of people, they are not making sense. And even the smartest have not been spared. So if you look at the voting patterns, if you look at the places where you require representations for yourself, now you can go and petition. Now with IEBC, you can go and think of ways of petitioning so that your Your Raila is included in that list of transporting voters. This explains his stronghold of Langata them days. Yes. So listen, we have to talk about solutions that transcend personalities. So Akina Mwenje used to transfer, and Akina Kamanda used to bring people from whatever, and then they turned them into the peasants and the slum dwellers. Brian Bai is telling you Ekodida is not an MCA. I knew what I was talking about. Please. Wacheni hiyo maneno. Wacheni kutu. Stop trying to confuse the message. Stop trying to listen to the message. You don't have to weigh in with your alternative facts. Just listen to the message and alafu uende ulale, and then you can critique yourself in the morning. You don't have, now when a message is flowing, you don't have to bring your counter facts over there. You don't have to bring your crap over there. Now anyway, you guys sometimes mnanikasirishanga. So these people have come from the rural area. They have come, they have usurped your voting mandate. They have taken over, they impose candidates on you. So can we discuss a solution so that this does not recur in 2027? Because it's a challenge. We don't have to wait for me to get into parliament so as to sponsor a bill. We can start discussing it now. We can start pushing laws now, because we have to encourage these people from within their mashinani, from within their home grounds, their strongholds, to vote for the right people. Like now, if you voted for the right person in Migori, in Kakamega, if you voted for that, you wouldn't need to come and be a slum dweller in Nairobi. Angela Nyambura is saying politicians should be banned from naming communities in their speech. Yes, that's number one. Number two, how do we deal with this issue of voter importation? Because it's a challenge. And then, it spreads. This idea and this narrative spreads, and these people, rural people, are usurping your mandate. Like now, Fred Matiang'i and Uhuru Kenyatta, they increased the quota system of schools. And now, sir, a student who was born and raised in Nairobi is missing a slot in a school like Pangani or State House or what. You're missing a slot just because a student in Turkana, ati amepita sana, ati sasa akuje asomee Pangani, akuje asomee State House, asomee sijui Lenana. No! Watu wajenge shule kwao. There is CDF, there is devolution money. Why haven't they been building their schools? We've been giving a get out of jail card to these morons. They've been receiving money, and they've been hiding behind the sentiment of Nairobi people. No, Nairobi is tired of carrying the baggage of these other entitled and lazy bastards who want free things because you don't want to use the money that you have been given from devolution. So how does a kid born and raised in Nairobi ati anaitwa shule anaambiwa aende asomee Maranda? No. Hapana, shule ya Maranda ni ya watu wa hiyo area. Shule ya Nairobi ni ya mtu amezaliwa kwa hiyo area. If you are in primary school from this year to this year, from standard 1 to 8, you are in that primary. Unaitwa shule uende, sijui kule kunaitwaje, Bura. Unaitwa Bura uende kufanya nini? Garbatula. Huko isaidia watu wa huko. Now waskume, they vote wisely so that they can build more schools. This is how Nairobians, you've been dominated by rural people with your own resources, with your own money. Mtoto anatoka Garissa anakuja kusomea Loreto Rimuru. Why? Because the governor ameiba pesa. The governor has stolen money. Jonathan anasema, me, I actually asked my father that, why do I have to go to high school 3 hours away, but we have school in Nairobi and I've lived here all our lives? That's Jonathan anauliza swali. Yeah? Wewe unasema hivyo, I've never gotten a job in Nairobi despite being born and raised. My first job was in Vihiga, then Kisumu, LD, currently in Bungoma. I gave up. We need to adopt a Boro system. That's Daniel Riri. We need to adopt the Boro system of UK, where you cannot work or go to a school outside your Boro or join a soccer team outside your Boro. So you will ensure your MP develops your Boro. You see, now we are having meaningful conversations, because us as Nairobians, why are we being dominated by rural people? Rural people are coming to bring us their problems because they vote poorly, because they sell their votes every electoral cycle, wanauza kura, alafu wanakuja kutuletea mashida yao. So they create and force Matiang'i and Uhuru to impose this quota system, and that quota system haisaidii watu wa Nairobi, watu wa Kiambu, watu wa Kakamega ama wa Rift Valley, inasaidia watu wa ASAL regions, watu wa Turkana na nini. Why are we being sympathetic to these useless bastards while they are receiving billions every year from devolution money? No. It's time for urban people to say enough is enough. Museme, we cannot continue carrying you on our backs. Tunakuwa tunawabeba all the time. We are carrying you. We are trying and you're using entitlement. You're not even asking. You're not even begging. You're not even negotiating. You are saying we deserve. Tunataka kusoma kwa shule zenyu. They are coming with a lot of entitlement. Because this is the nature of ruralism. They think that they are deserving. They think that they should. But in essence, because they have absconded their duty to vote wisely, now they want us to bear the brunt. They want us to suffer. If you look at the jobs which are shared in Nairobi, wanakuja na ethnic rationalization na nini, wanasema ile quota system, even for jobs, even for university placements. These are mbona hawajengi university huko kwao? Because they are stealing money. So you people don't be, there is a way you can be emotionally blackmailed by people into seeing things from their own perspective. No, don't be. You say you are an urban person. You have no business going to school. Ama mtoto wako hana any biashara ya kwenda kusomea Bura, Garbatula, sijui nini. Kimani Ndini anasema, this is a perspective I had never thought of, very enlightening. With conversation comes enlightenment. And then now you move, we are 200 today, you move and share the message to your people. These county administrators must be held accountable. Misappropriation is retrogressive, is a retrogressive act of our country. That's these are, I was heavily against nationalization of former provincial schools. For example, in my hometown of Nyeri, kids now can't get admitted to local high schools. Unbelievable. The Zilao is saying the same has been done in Denmark. Borough systems is the way forward. You understand? So, Eric Kimatu anasema, have a fixed framework in place for expenditure of county constituency funds, blah, blah, blah. Nita BE anasema, you've explained this so well. This needs to change. Yeah. Kipchumba Chepkwony anasema, Gaitho, you are talking sense. You see, so people were ready to fight me and say, oh, blah, blah, because of your, you are a fan of Churchill. I've told you, you can be a fan of person, you can be against their politics. You understand? I am personally, I've not been an out fan of Churchill, but I know he entertains people with low vibrational energy and stale jokes and ethnocentric comedy, because the intellect. But right now, it has gotten to a place where these rural retards are affecting urban planning. Modoni Wanganga says, some of my family members live in Maralal. After devolution, all the people working for the county bought big cars, built houses, and all these people are from one tribe and a specific clan. So sisi hatutabeba mizigo ya watu wengine. Jobs in Nairobi should be for people in Nairobi. Hakuna mtu atatoka county ingine akuje anza kusema we have devolution. And one thing everyone keeps saying, that we are not making progress. Please, I want you from now henceforth to be speaking. Speak life to the message. Breathe life into it. You saw this year during the El Nino, when we had the El Nino, the ASAL regions, the Bilokeros, walikuwa metokea hapo wakaanza kusema, no, we were able to suppress them. Nobody had time for their bullshit. You understand? This is the same energy we are taking forward, we are carrying forward next year. We don't the quota system should be abolished. Wajenge shule, kila mtu wajenge shule kwao. We've seen how much billions you've been collecting. Now the days of you using narratives, we've been neglected for 60 years. That's rubbish. 60 years for who? The last 10 years, 2 trillion has gone to those regions, the ones which are still claiming to be marginalized. You understand? So it is upon you now. Don't speak life to the message. Don't feel like you've been defeated. Don't feel like you've lost the fight. Don't think like the propagandists have won. Every little counts. We are subduing them in real time. Tunawaona tukiwanyamazisha. Bilokero alikuja hapo kunitusi nikamnyorosha. I told him, bro, in fact these statistics that I am quoting, I am citing, you're the one who did them. Alikuwa amesahau. So today I saw on Bilokero he did something about Kenya Power. Somebody commented there akasema, naona Gaitho alikurudisha line you are now starting to tweet like a logical man. These people they will only entertain you for as far as you allow them. He's almost like a cheating partner. Leshaol on Tobu amesema ametuma kakitu kachai, asante sana, nyinyi ndio mumenieka hapa. You have to it's almost like a cheating partner. You will continue to, the cheater will continue entertaining you with their philandering ways as much as you entertain it. If you put a stop on it, now that's what we are going to do. We don't even need to fight these people. I don't know, doing a lot. Every time we land on the timeline and we see propaganda, we are going to challenge it. Samuel Muirori anasema kupigwa just because you question something. That is the fear they entrenched in you. That was the programming that started in high school. So as we are discussing, I want you people born and raised in Nairobi or any urban town not to carry the baggage of other people who are paid to not vote wisely, who are paid to go and vote somewhere else, alafu warudi kwao. Hebu imagine umetolewa tuseme place kama Murang'a, badala ya kuvote kule wewe unaishi na unafanya kazi so that you elect the right people, unaekwa kwa basi unaenda ili upewe 1,000. You understand? This is you see the lunacy. You see why we need civic education. In fact, sometimes we should not even be forced to be legislating common sense, but talking with people, rural people, trying to convince them to do something is next to impossible. Which is why we have to now regroup as urban people. We say, you rural people, tumechoka kwa sababu nyinyi mukikohoa munatuletea you're giving us your problems are spreading, they are rubbing onto us, and we don't want your problems are self-induced. Ni nyinyi hamuchaguani vizuri. Sasa nyinyi mkikuja Nairobi, you're coming here, you're coming here to lay low like an envelope. So the characters who are trying to promote and glamorize ruralism, people, the influencers, you start doing away with them. Unakuja kutuambia nini with those silly accents? Hapa tunataka mtu anaongea hii lugha. And if you're not speaking this lugha, go to your home ground. Like now, I love TikTok because once you go to Kikuyu TikTok, for instance, you're going to see influencers who are uko in the grassroots. Hawako Nairobi, they are not trying to come and flex in Nairobi. What are they coming to flex? Wako kwao na they are trying to influence their staff there. And that's how it should be. So when I see Samido is on page 3 of Nation, sorry, I have to ask. You guys think of it as progress. Me, I see here, because I'm naturally paranoid, I see here there is an agenda. John Kipkurui anasema, I have seen Kenya Mpya buses ferry voters from Nairobi to Moyale. Badala wachaguane, mtu anafaa achaguane mahali unaishi. Hapo ndio unahitaji barabara, unahitaji hospitali, unahitaji street lights, unahitaji security. Hizo mambo zote zinaongelewa bunge, zinaongelewa kwa county assembly. You elect all those people, but wewe unaacha kwako, unaenda kuvotia kwa mwingine juu ya 1,000. Alafu unataka nao unataka sasa kukuwe na quota system. You want a quota system ili mtoto wako mwenye amesomeshwa aende asaidike kwa county nyingine yenye hao wamejitetea kivyao. Hapana. Hata you urban people, you've been taken for fools by these rural bred bastards. Boycott their businesses. If you see anyone promoting ruralism, tag them, tell them we have seen, we don't like what you're doing, and we are going to boycott your business. It's simple. It's simple. Don't feel subdued. Don't feel woishe. They try and brainwash you and box you into their mindset, telling you woishe, telling you wewe unaringa, nyinyi mnaringa. That's what I get from my WhatsApp group. Wewe nyinyi mnaringa my high school WhatsApp group, wewe because ulizaliwa town. No, there was specific profiling. I know your hate of the town and urban people starts from high school. And as Michael Kwambo told you yesterday, it breeds the us versus them mentality. And it also generates entitlement. That slum dwellers in Nairobi do not pay electricity. That power bill is loaded to the middle classes. Because the politicians anaenda hapo anawaambia usilipe rent, usilipe stima. So they are happy that this class is being oppressed. They are happy that these middle class, they don't know that these guys are the ones who are paying for them. They are paying for their hospital. They are paying for their electricity. They are even creating jobs for them. Kuja car wash, kuja kwangu mboch nini. And then ikifika tu almost 2027, just before election, this guy ndio anakumbuka, oh, huyu sio, this is not the guy who has been keeping my lights on. This is not the guy who has been feeding me. Oh, this is my enemy. Sasa wanakuja hustler versus dynasty. They start weaponizing a narrative to split you, to split people who have existed, coexisted peacefully. So the urban people, and I told you, listen, I will fight for anyone who has been born and raised in an urban area. Because I saw firsthand last year that unaona mtoto amequalify, ako na zile marks zinafaa kwenda national school. Anaitwa national school Maranda, anaitwa Bura, na ametoka Nairobi. How? How? Can you tell me how that works? Are you happy with that imbalance? And it was now, you know, Matiang'i used to concoct a narrative. Before any intervention that Matiang'i did, he used to cook a narrative, and then anakuja hapo, and then nyinyi munasema, oh, Matiang'i, oh my God, is a performer. But nonsense! Matiang'i was the biggest bastard who has ever lived in this world. I see journalists there try to say that Matiang'i was presidential material for what? Guy was a bastard. I would use harsher words. I'm being kind because of censorship requirements on this platform. But if I was to use the right words for Matiang'i right now, he would never appear in public again. That's the most useless bastard who has ever worked in government. And they used to create a narrative, and then they come, and then now they onboarded. Like now, my former high school is called Kagumo. It's a national school. It no longer helps the people of Mount Kenya region, yet it's us who built it. With caution fees, with development fees, with money. We used to go for harambes. Sisi tuliijenga. Mbona sasa ati the bulk of the students wanatoka Turkana? The former governor of Turkana, Joseph Nanok, working for Ruto State House right now, cannot explain what he did with 5 billion shillings. 5 billion can build one referral hospital, can build 100 high schools and primary schools, and one university. Lakini wote wanataka tufinyane huku. Well, because I told you there has to be a scrum. There has to be Kibet Segeri amekuja kutoka Kericho. Santi sana. So don't feel like you don't belong to where you are. Don't feel like you've been subdued by these rural urban migrants. Alvin, Alex, wow, ulikuwa Washington, mimi nilikuwa Kimathi. Cheers bro. So I don't understand why my former school is not admitting people from my region, and the people who are taking precedence ni watu wa Garissa, watu wa Turkana. Why? Hiyo shule ni sisi tulijenga. Mrui, asanti sana, ulikuwa Mohoya, you are neighbors. So shule yetu no, wajenge shule kwao. They've been given money. We are seeing the billions, how much they are getting. We are seeing the fuel guzzlers. We are seeing the side chicks they are rolling with. We know those chicks to bang them. You cannot bang them for free. They cost a lot of high maintenance chicks. We are seeing them. And instead of them investing in their people, they are investing in hood rats in Nairobi. They have pana. Hata nyinyi tumekaliwa sana by these urban dwellers too. Wametukalia sana. It's time for you to reclaim your spot. Is to reclaim your power. So these accessories of ruralism, characters like Churchill, should be shunned. because they are trying to impose their backwardness. They are trying to impose their stupidity on urbaners who them they have taken time to learn about civic education. Ann Carol amesema I'm addicted to this show. Thank you. Thank you very much. Nanok na Amazon hawafai kuonekana anywhere in the social space. Nanok cannot explain what he did with 5 billion. Hiyo alifanya mapeti cash zake. Amazon Kingi cannot explain what he did with 140 billion. These are reports by the Controller and Auditor General. There is not a single legacy project in the counties, and then wanakosa kujenga kwao, wanakuja wana influence policy ati sasa kufanywe national schools quota system so that watoto wao waendelee kusoma. Did you see the amount of money the Mandera governor, the Mandera governor, the amount of money he was 400 million for bursary. Si ajenge shule na hizo pesa anapeana bursary za nini? Akuje huku ashinde huku kwa media ikisema Mount Kenya has been favored. Mount Kenya, they don't even listen to themselves when they are spewing some of this nonsense. You need to understand there are people who are taking your resources. They are taking your resources, and you people are there, you are clapping for them as they are usurping your space. No. These people, that's why kitu ya kwanza we want the vernacular stations, zirudi in the grassroots. Nairobi, we should be speaking our common languages. Who told our parents watoto hupelekwa high school Ocha? Nilitolewa South C niende Kiambu High na kuna high school meters away. See, your parents were equally dumb, which is why tunasema we don't want them to vote. Instead of having these conversations like now that IQ Watson, ni mzee ni mbaba, but instead of having such conversations, they were looking for, they were trying to create solutions elsewhere instead of sitting down and saying mbona tunafanya harambee watoto wetu waende university. Pesa tunaona kwa budget zimekuwa allocated. Like now the governor of Trans Nzoia, George Natambea, is a PR guy. Ukiangalia TikTok yake, he's not launching any project. Ako pale tu anaongea and then guys are liking his videos. You guys are crazy. This guy is an idiot. He's not done anything. In fact, Natambea and Matiang'i ni same WhatsApp. Kuongea mingi. You need to stop entertaining these people and tell them, bro, umefanya project. Have you launched a hospital? Because now, sijui kama uliona on his TikTok, George Natambea, ameenda hapo amefanya some village Olympics games, zingine za upuzi hapo. Ukiangalia hizo games and then you go to the budget. Me, I go to the budget, bro. Nimeangalia allocation ya sports. It's 235 million for 2022-2023 financial year. 223 million is enough to build a proper grounds. Kutengeneza training grounds huko zimetengenezwa na artificial turf na ziko na solar lights. Lakini hivi wanambangaiza because you guys, even you mumekuwa carried away, mumekuwa part of the rural culture. The rural people are the ones who came to Nairobi to destroy it. Mato Makandets from Kansas, karibu sana, feel at home. Your people are my people. Watu wote wa diaspora uko hapa, hata wewe umechelewa sana, pole sana. So you understand, it's time for you people to reclaim what is rightfully yours. These rural people are dominating you. They are dominating you because of what? They come with the illusion that they have the numbers. They don't have the numbers. Si jana Ruto amejaribu kujaza Uhuru Gardens ka space kadogo hivi, ametoa mabasi kila mahali. Naona mabasi za mashule zote Mount Kenya zilikuwa kazi huko, zimepeleka watu, bado hakujaza. So they are creating the illusion that they are the majority. Like now Kibera, Slum and these numbers, kumekuwa na this lie, Kibera is the I don't know, the biggest. No, the people who live in flats imegrow hivi, they are the majority. It's not the people who live evil horizontally. My Trans Nzoia people, huyu ni Sharik Harib, decided hawataki maendeleo kabisa. If not for Kikuyu and Indian businessmen huko kungekuwa msituni. Ati Mato anasema uache kutuchapa. Watu wa diaspora lazima mpigwe, tutawapiga vizuri. Lakini mkae mkirusha kakitu ili msipigwe sana. So the idea here is urban people, you've been subdued into silence. Ati ukiongea sasa ni bapana. Rural people, once they get money, they are worse than narcissists. What I've come to see. Rural people hawataki, yani ni kwa sababu ya the circumstances kule wametoka, and how they can use any rationalization and any narrative to justify their bad choices. Murkomen was a humble guy, anajifanya he's very humble, he's very what, na muona saa hii ana designer clothes. Kwanza anapigwa picha zingine hapo ili tuone label, tuone hiyo ni watch, ni Hublot, sijui ni nini. And you guys retweet. The moment you stop retweeting these guys, the moment you show them that we are not impressed. And these rural people, once they start getting money, they are more narcissistic. Akina Mwenje walitoka na huko Muranga na nini, yao ndio walikatakata Eastlands, maploti huko, na akina Maina Kamanda. Run the compound anasema kusoma different town messes with your identity. Imagine primary in Mombasa, high school Kisumu, campus Nairobi. By the time you're 25, you are a stranger anywhere. Half of your life is away from home. We don't have identities because of these movements. Kwa sababu ya nini watu hawataki kujenga shule kwao? Na munataka kusomea shule, unataka ati kusomea Alliance, unataka kusomea Loreto with a lot of entitlement. No, wow, these rural people wametuchosha. Wanataka jobs zote za serikali. Wanataka kusomesha watoto wao kwa shule zetu, kwa sababu hawa hawataki kwenda time ya election na kuna kuanga na holiday, mtu hataki kwenda kuchaguana kwao. Ama wanakuwa voter importation, wanaletwa mahali kwingine. So they are importing their problems to us. It's time we put a stop on it. You see? So are you ready to step up to the plate? Are you ready to identify ruralism and to fight it? You have to fight it with social media clout. You have to fight it with your money. You have to start boycotting these corporates which are perpetuating ruralism. They are aligning with influencers who are anti-intellectual. Kuna leo nimeona comments mingi sana. Leo nikaona comment ingine, nikaona ati Lynn Ngugi amesikiza Gaitho that this week amechange, ameleta sijui na content gani yake imeanza kuimprove. These things, they just need conversation, my friend. Kwa sababu I have come to realize that human beings, because of the rat race, because you are stuck in traffic and everything, you rarely connect the dots. Sio kupenda kwako. Your brain is already fatigued from the system. And then sasa unaingia the media nao wako na agenda zao. But nimeona the moment you just draw, unaekea mtu kadot kadogo hivi ana connect the whole line. And that is what we will do. We will have difficult ati hiyo ya Lynn Ngugi alishanga. You don't know that there are people who are deliberately feeding you with low vibrational energy. Imagine, Alex anauliza, imagine if all those Muranga businessmen in Nairobi instead set up their base in their hometowns. Central province would have grown, but now we are stuck in the 10th century. Huyo ni Alex anaongea from Muranga. Ruralism, this ruralism mindset. Unaionanga na ma-influencers kama Kabiwa Jesus. Unaonanga how he has low content yenye haina intellect, devoid of intellect. He's never had a political conversation. He cannot be serious. Just because he's making money from a few corporates, which is why I'm saying boycott the corporates which entrench ruralism. Eric Kimatu ameanza kuona gaslighting session ya hii wiki ni NTSA. People who have migrated from rural areas are registered voters in cities must go back and register at home. Sio kwenda nyumbani Christmas na Easter pekee. You understand now? You understand the implications? You understand the implications. When I saw that Ikodida was not the MCA there, huyo ni mtu amegrow huko mtaani. Amegrow huko mtaani. That's the guy you should be voting for there. That's the guy who knows we just need to do this, reclaim this parcel. If we can reclaim back, we can take our area back to the glory days. Lakini sasa nyinyi mnaletewa, nimekwambia Thika wamekuwa subdued na kanisa, na makanisa ziko na mapasta wengine wametoka na huko Ugīshagi, hawajui they don't know the history of that region, so wana elect MP anaitwa Alice just because amekuja hapo amevaa vizuri, wana mahips hapo na nini, for reasons, all other reasons other than what they are supposed to do. Not she's a good debater, not like she's forwarded or fronted revolutionary bills in parliament. Apollo Renga anasema, Viva Gaidho, you are right. In TZ, Singida region is very rich because people from Singida, including Indians, have taken all their monies and factories back home. Munajisikilia tu hapo. Some schools in Kiambu have over 1,500 people. Huko Garissa, 100 CDF ni same blah blah blah. Dark Angels anasema Kabi wa Jesus ni puny, worst of all. Listen, we are telling the people who have been influential. You saw, and this is now the dichotomy, this is now the connection between now bad governance and your influencers. You saw yesterday, they got some few influencers to perform at Uhuru Gardens, and then they got others who they gave the OGW because they want to, it's not them, those ones deserve probably to get those OGWs, but the others who are living hand to mouth, you want to be fed with the illusion that if you are not critical to this regime, maybe one day utapata hiyo OGW. But what's the chance? What are the odds of you getting that OGW? Kama jana OGW ilipewa watu wangapi? Si ilipewa watu wawili. Ilikuwa Jackie Vick na Kate Actress, watu wawili tu. Now, if you are influencers, if you are 1,000 of you in the entire republic, what are the odds that wewe utafikiwa? But they are trying to hoodwink you and brainwash you. Because that same Kit Kamau si alikuwa ametolewa kwa ile committee ya Talanta Hela ile ya kwanza, and then now wanamu, because they are scared, they know that these influencers because I told you they need to create a semblance of consensus to donors, wanataka hoodwink donors that bado sisi tuko pamoja ili do iendelee kutoka. A good example of rural influence is Jalango, a villager against former MP Korir, who was born and raised in Lang'ata. Nasikia? So, mimi sijui jua njage, mimi sijui vile hizo titles usaidia. So ruralism, because they come and, kwa sababu for Jalango to be famous, he did things me I'm not ready to do. Mimi siwezi fanya. The amount of ass-kissing fuckery he had to engage in, I can't do it. But because alifanya hivyo, na hiyo munairebrand, munaiita kujituma, ati hiyo ni kujituma. Hiyo ati ni kujituma sasa. Me I cannot do some certain craps. But yeye juu alifanya hivyo, sasa munaacha mtu alizaliwa huko, sasa mumchague. Huyo ametoka Homa Bay. Jalango is from Homa Bay. He should be vying in Homa Bay, huko kwao, where he was a fisherman. It's crazy. It's crazy how you guys have allowed ruralism. Munaona, now you can, are these examples coming closer home? Munazi understand vizuri? Can you relate now to the problems that we are having? So Jalango hajui hata Lang'ata kuna kaaji. Aliamka tu akaendea kule kuna where it's trending, where it's popping. So why are you allowing rural people to hijack and usurp your mandates? How are you allowing people of Kameme and Dinoro, Ben Githae, to tell you who to vote for as president? Who is Ben Githae? Because he's composed a nonsensical song over there. And then you guys are there twerking like a bunch of idiots. Evangelist Wangare Kehunyi, karibu. You're there twerking like a bunch of idiots, listening to Ben Githae and all these other gospel musicians. You have no business. Those people have no business trying to influence your voting patterns. Mango Punda, you know Mango Punda ni kama nimeona sasa now this live is we are connecting with people who we have so much in common. I was thinking about it today. Camp Mula, when they started huko 2012 and whatever, do you know they featured Wizkid. And Wizkid sasa alienda akawaruka. Amewaruka, but they were there before akina Wizkid. Nigerian musicians are supported by their own, Tanzanian their own. Sisi tunapiga watu wetu. And so all these influencers who are promoting Christina Shusho, ukiona mtu yeyote ana promote Christina Shusho, we have neglected the people. You remember that era of akina Camp Mula? There was akina Blinky Bill, Just a Band. Akina nani huyu mwingine anaitwaje? Ude mwingine alikuwa naimba na hiyo click, alikuwa anaitwaje? Mayonde. Ebu remind me the clicks of how walikuwa naimba. Akina Just a Band. I used to watch their stuff, man. Their music was dope. Kuna kadem kengine nilikuwa naona kanaitwa Naomi Washira. There was who Blinky Bill walianza kuhappen hata kabla these guys niliona mumeenda kujaza mzungu anaitwa Ramo, mumeenda huko mumejaa huko. Kina Blinky were happening before those guys, but because we couldn't trust them with our numbers. We couldn't trust them. Those guys wakakunywa maji hapo katikati. Now we are pushing Tanzanian musicians. We are pushing anti-intellectual crap Ben Gedhae. Samido, somebody whose music hata haiwezi cross hata border ya county, let alone ya country. Sage Kimutai. She's called Kimutai Sage. And that chick is hot. Elani, yes, Munene. Those are the people we should have been thrusting. JCW from Kilimani, karibu sana. Ukichelewa, unajua hapa kuna fine ya kuchelewa, unaangalia DJ Adla hapo atakutumia namba. Macmende was not the musician, he was like the skit that promoted that song. Yeah. So Camp Mula, you know, imagine how many other opportunities they would have created if we thrusted them. There is this chick who used to sing, I think Sauti Sol were forced by their people to comply with the rural mindset so as to go mainstream. But there's a chick who used to sing with Sauti Sol alikuwa anaitwa Dela. Huyo bado maintain ile niche. Huyo ako sawa. So these people who are not trying to sing in Kiswahili, trying to pander to those guys, man, we could have heralded a musical renaissance at the time. All they just needed was our support. And now, since you are not listening to Radio Africa, which is controlled by Maina Kageni na yeye kupush ngoma yako huko, lazima mkuwe na vested interest. Since we have the internet now, we can still do it. But we tried to do it with Sophia Nzau, and then Christina Shusho tukaletewa, tukaimpoziwa. That's why I'm telling you, this was deliberate. You need to tell me, whoever knows who is behind the Christina Shusho concert, you need to tell me ili to deal na yeye. Even though the concert will be a success, baadaye tutaachwa na yeye tukideal na yeye. We will know our enemies. We will know how to tackle the enemies we have over here. Mesikia? Sarabi. Kuna wengine walikuwa wanasema siendi Kenchik, pengine Java. Ilikuwa inaitwa band gani hiyo? Is a band there. Camp Mula was bigger than Wizkid, and now Wizkid is one of the superstars in the world. Can you imagine? Ako kadem ako kamkale ako kanaitwa Sage Kimutai. Huyo alikuwa top, my friend. Huyu Kibet anasema lazima AK52 za cabbage. Fala wewe. Sophia Nzau is the hottest tropical house song from Africa. But saa zenye tu imeshika momentum ndio wametuletea Christina Shusho. Emmanuel Masese. Hiyo maswali tumeongea sana. Unasikia paka my throat is getting dry. Sasa we bro, nimeongea paka my throat is getting dry. I should be having hot water next to me. Fire went unnoticed. At a fire, hurt the band. All these guys, we could have propelled them. We have realized that we have the talent. It can cross over. It's us who are not promoting it. Ni sisi hatuwa promote. Those headmasters and headmistresses wanatuma watoi home half weeks before wakule pesa ya food zao. It's us who've not been propelling our people. We've been held captive by Ugīshagi people with their Ben Gedai and those useless contracts. We have the power. Miss Karun, yes, we've been talking about her. So will you step up to the plate? Alphonse Ogula amesema he's going to support independent journalism. Asante sana, Mr. Alphonse. Tabu, you remember Fai, Tabu, hiyo ngoma walifanya Tabu ilikuwa ni ile walifanya na Octo. Fai walifanya na Octo ama na nani? So if we could have Nikita Kering, yes, but Nikita Kering is from another era. Now we are talking about the one which we didn't push. You saw Jalango saa zenye Gengeton wamejaribu kujiamsha, ni yeye alisema I'll finish Gengeton. Sasa that guy huyo anaitwa Jalango should be returned to with the rural shithole that he came from, with the contempt that he deserves. Who are you to come and tell Nairobians that their music is crap? Wewe ni nani? You're just a fisherman from Homa Bay. You should lay low in the city. Sijasahau Elani. Fire Ruka with King Kaka and Kali. Yes, Ruka was a nice song, man. Fire was hiyo ngoma ilikuwa noma. There's a lot of talent imepotelea chini. Why? Because we were not supporting them. Hatukuwa tuna boost. Ukifanya video yako pale, nani wanasema puni tu wewe? Shadrack Meli wewe mzee wewe. Kwanza Gabu ni scam, na kuanga nimechukia Gabu kabisa. Gabu is a rubbish guy. Martin, habari yako, good evening. So Trevor Mwangi unaingia kama umechelewa aje bana. 10:30. Mwekange reminders bana. Ruralism ilianza Primo na Maodijo. Emmanuel Maseze, relax. Kila every issue we bora tu kujange daily. Tutakuwa tuna your issue will find space in a future live stream. Basil Ndolo, Jalango huwa amenichokesha. Do you need to tell these people in their comments? How do you come at useme Gengeton haijashika? Rudi kwenyu Homa Bay, uambie watu huko hiyo upuzi. Nairobi here guys are trying to build our culture and we are being undermined and frustrated by rural bred. Even the people who work in those Nyayo houses and whatever in government offices, ni watu wametoka Maocha wanakuja kutuonyesha vile tutakaa Nairobi yetu. You have to say no, enough is enough. Look at Jamhuri Day, the clowns who went to perform there. We have these artists that we are talking about over here. So all I'm saying is because we cannot wait now. We have already ukiona mahali there is quality, you use it. If you're doing your videos on TikTok, on what, you use it. Zila wanasema Jalango is ovyo ile mbaya sana. DJ Adla, uliona tweet ya DJ Afro. Afro anaenda kufanya nini on a national day? Anaenda kutuambia nini? What nonsense is that, man? You guys mumejikosea heshima sana. Mumejikosea heshima. Mumejikosea heshima kuruka. Mumejikosea heshima pana. We have the talent. We have the intellect. We just bring each other down. Ukiona mtu mwenye yako hivyo, nilikuwa nakwambia kama mtu kama Churchill hangeleta watu smart on his show because he wanted to create the illusion to sponsors and to politicians that he is the one who is the custodian of public opinion. So analeta to people who are not a threat to his illusionary dominance. At some point people outgrow. At some point you will not be who you were. Kek Dirango anasema yenyewe sisi ni mbuzi. Yeah. We had the talent, we have it, we still have it. So I need somebody who knows, uniambia who is behind Christina Shusho and who was behind the PR campaign of Christina Shusho. We start there and work backwards. Watu wametubeba aje? These idiots wametubeba aje? These rural bred idiots wanakuja hapa kutuletea Tanzanian music. Tanzanians have grown their own music. Even sisi tupewe space, we grow our own music. Lakini we won't be having mainstream media journalists here ati forcing this music. They don't want to platform our own music ati wanasema hii haisongi. Mutaisongesha by force ama tutamuandika. Nonsense. So the radio journalists, you become pathetic people. You think you have the power. You are employed. You are public servants. You are employed in those companies to exhibit a level of neutrality so that we can grow our society. You've been licensed by the government. So you're public servants. Even though you draw... Joguna Victor anasema, Mr. Gaido, thank you for saying and having the courage to say what we all think. Thank you very much. Such a sacrifice, you know. So journalists and all these people, you are working for entities which have been licensed, gotten frequencies from the government. So don't think that just because unapewa salary na SK Masharia, you have the right to do your own nonsense there. No. Kenches amesema here to learn. Tuko 155 likes. Mbona amweki 200 likes tumalize show? Lakini ninasikia paka nitakuwa naweka maji moto hapa. DJ Adler, even if we have play 75% KE music, and they are still playing the mediocre component of our music, that's why these kamemes should be nauko in the bundus. All these vernacular stations should be in the bundus. Our urban identity should be retained so that we don't have these rural bred retards coming to dictate how we are going to live our life in Nairobi. It's crazy, man. You guys are crazy. How can you munabebo aje malenge hivi by maziwa mala by the system for all this long? You have to step up to the plate. You have to do what's right. You have to support quality. You have to do away with mediocrity. Basil Ndolo, I think it's too late to have them to be banned. The best we can do right now is to push for them to be relocated from urban areas, ili watu wakae na ujinga yao huko wako. If they feel like they want to be liberated, if they feel like they want to elevate themselves to fit level ya urban areas, then they will vote wisely. But now what we are having is people coming with their rural stupidity and infecting urban people. Zilao anasema something very nice. Tanzanians killed their own music and they are now promoting and they are now turning their music to be amapiano. It's their choice. Unajua waliabudu Diamond sana pia hao. Na Diamond now is trying to move with the pop culture. So that's their life. But us, we are not going to kill our own people, number one. They killed Gengeton while it was being graced everywhere. There was a time even Vinyosis required nini. So anyway, bottom line, your work from now henceforth, if you see this live, whether you see it now or you're going to see it later, is for you to identify ruralism. Once you see it, you tag me. By the way, the people who tag me on Twitter, you do a very good job because I'm able to connect and relate with a lot of things. For instance, like today, somebody told me there is no vernacular station in Tanzania. No wonder there is no tribalism there, despite them being ethnically diverse. So yeah, we cannot be held hostage by a bunch of rural bred retards. Gatekeepers. Emmanuel Kamau is talking about gatekeepers, akina Churchill. So anyway, asanteni sana. Even I'm running out of charge. I've stayed with you for over 1.5 hours. Nimemwekesha sana. So Emmanuel Masese anaitisha namba. DJ Yadla, hebu rushia Masese hapo kanamba fulani. DJ Yadla atakurushia. Pole. So asanteni sana. Liking is free. Kulike ni free. There's this guy called Lil Minor. Lil Minor, that guy man, huyo msee akona talent. Vile ana sync beats zingine huko na nini, gengetone yake iko juu. Masese, umeona hiyo namba umerudishiwa na DJ Yadla, umeona That Lil Minor, he is a talent man, he is a talent. Manuel Masese, umeona hiyo DJ Yadla amekurushia hapo So anyway, kwaherini, thank you everyone who has come live, everyone who has supported me, even sharing link, clicking like. Leo tulikuwa 246. Lil Mine ametoa album jana, mimi sijui. Justus Kahiga, asante sana. Well, it's diversity to have more regional languages because London itself have many Wales, Scotland accents. I don't know what that meant, but accent is not language. Language and accent are two different things. Berlin Station, asante sana. Twahir Mohamed, asante sana. Magufuli alijua vizuri akatuambia shida ya Kenya ni ukabila. The new wave is urban tone. Remember to have hot water, honey, lemon next to you. Your voices. Thank you, bro. Thank you, Z. Wacha ni bana. So I need to be having hot water and lemon next to me. Kwaherini sana, asanteni sana kuniekesha. Patanisho pia ni Ushamba, imeletwa Nairobi. Sadan, asante sana. Patanisho ni Ushamba, imeletwa Nairobi. We say no, we are not going to be dictated by rural bred retards. Hivyo. Martin Strike, okay. So cheers bro, santeni sana. We see you tomorrow, let's do it. Nikifanya 3 times a week kuna shida. Ili na mimi na nikifanya 3 times a week si we are good. Na nyinyi mkuwe mmetayarisha kibonge cha hela. Haya. Kesho tuongelelee geopolitics ya East Africa. Invite me tuchambue vile Kenya tunaenda pabaya. Okay. Cheers bro.